Skinny Hardaway Southern T. Back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, we'll greatly appreciate if y'all could hit that thumbs up for your boy. I'm going to waste a little bit of y'all time this morning, right? Because I want to make sure that I get, my thoughts off across the right way with this. I want to make sure I get my thoughts across the right way with this because this is something that I've been saying, right? I hadn't said it quite like, you know what I mean, the way that Eddie said it, but this is something that I've been saying, right? And if you've been paying attention to it, right, like I know a lot of y'all have because we love the sport, right? If you've been, Shade, girl, what's good, Shade? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, Shade. Glad you can make it. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy, right? But Eddie Hearn had said something yesterday or day before yesterday, one of these days, not too long ago, right? This article just came out yesterday, so I'm guessing he said it maybe the day before, right? I'm guessing by the time these articles drop, right, maybe they said it the day before. They could have said it a couple of days before. Sometimes I see these articles, they take stuff that people say, weeks ago, and they break it down week by week, right, on everything that they said a week ago, right? But I'm pretty sure, this was a recent Eddie Hearn interview, right, where he said this because of the things that Eddie Hearn said on the interview, right? They was talking about Canelo and him leaving the zone, right? Now, we know this ain't the first time that Canelo Alvarez has parted ways with Eddie Hearn in the zone. He always seems to find his way back, right? But this isn't the first time that Eddie Hearn decided to part ways. That Eddie Hearn and Canelo Alvarez parted ways. So they asked Eddie Hearn, was he sour about it? Like, was there any sour grapes between him and Canelo with Canelo leaving? Eddie Hearn went on to say that, no, there's not. Me and Canelo are actually friends, right? That they get along. And he said, contrary to popular belief, right? He said that the zone isn't necessarily all that upset because they have lost Canelo Alvarez. DS, what's good, DS? Appreciate you sliding through this thing, DS. Glad you can make it, man. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. Hit that thumbs up for your boy, rather you just passing through. I know there's other people live right now. I know it's bright and early. And I'm going to take my time with this, you know what I mean? Because I want to get this across. Because, again, this is something that I have been saying. And I love it, like, when, stuff that I have been saying. And then when it come, like, straight from the source. And they say the same things that I've been saying, right? I love it. So this is one of these EPs. So I want to make sure I get out my thoughts across, right? But Eddie Hearn said that contrary to popular belief, right? Contrary to popular belief, right? He said that the zone, Maxroom isn't necessarily as upset as everybody think about Canelo Alvarez leaving the zone. And the reason that Eddie Hearn gave for that was, maybe it was shocking to some, alarming, right, to all, maybe shocking to some, but it wasn't that shocking to me, right? Like, some people are shocked by it. Some people are saying, "Oh, Eddie Hearn just mad that he left," but Eddie Hearn clearly went on to say that him and Canelo have a good relationship, and in the way that Eddie was saying it, I don't think that Eddie Hearn got any sour grapes about it, right? Eddie was saying the exact opposite. He was saying that I really don't have sour grapes about it, and he went on to explain why. He said, "We all know that Canelo Alvarez has had about 10 fights on the zone, and he's a massive star. People come to see Canelo." He said, but not every single Canelo Alvarez fight does well. You know what I mean? He said, as of late, right, it's getting more increasing that, they don't do well. And he said, it's not because of Canelo, right? For the people that's going to say, well, Eddie Hearn just mad that Canelo Alvarez left the zone. He said it's not because of Canelo. He said it's because of the opponents that Canelo is fighting. He said, not every Canelo fight. He said not every Canelo fight is, a success. He said maybe if we had a guy like David Benavidez or a guy like Jamal Charlo, right, we could have been a little more successful with the Canelo Alvarez, you know what I mean, experience, right? So basically, in a nutshell, Eddie Hearn said that, they telling us that Canelo, do these big numbers, right? He's this big pay-per-view star. Eddie Hearn basically said that that's not always the case. The case is not always true. Canelo does good numbers when you can match him with a good opponent. And the opponents he named was David Benavidez and Jamal Charlo. He said, I mean, we don't have a Jamal Charlo and David Benavidez to offer him to boost his fight sales. You know what I mean? But I myself, and Eddie Hearn said that, right? Now, he said it in a different way, a different wording, but Eddie Hearn basically, skills was good, skills. Shout out my guy, Diaz. Shout out my guy, Skid. He's that Mexican monster. You can't choose to be depending on who won't smoke with you. Facts, my guy. Facts. You must check out my EP from earlier. Shout out my guy, Skills. But I digress, right? But Eddie Hearn basically alluded to Canelo not fighting big competition. Canelo not fighting the best fights. Canelo not fighting the best guys is what's causing his star power to decline. And then he went on to say, but if we had, somebody like Charlo or Benavidez to offer him, then that'd be a different story. Now, for quite some time, I said, face of boxing, right? Face of boxing. Face of boxing is a term that get thrown around a lot, right? Most people consider Canelo the face of boxing because he is, right? And I'm also saying that he's one of the faces of boxing. There's not just one face of boxing. And when I say that, that's when people lose their mind. That's when people get beside themselves. And that's when people get their panties in a bunch, right? But it's not just one face of boxing. And Eddie Hearn basically just told you that, right? Face is of boxing. Canelo Alvarez is on the decline because, just like Eddie Hearn said, he's not fighting the best, biggest possible competition. And you got the reason Canelo has to share the room now, right? Face of boxing. Because Eddie Hearn just told you on decline. The reason that Canelo has to share the room now with guys like Errol Spence, guys like Davis, right? Is because they're until fights, right? No one wants to see Canelo versus John Ryder. You know what I mean? Now, no matter how I feel about Gervonta Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia, people do want to watch Ryan Garcia. People love to watch Ryan Garcia, right? Errol Spence and Bud probably about to make the biggest fight. This thing probably about to do 2 million pay-per-views. You know what I mean? Type deal. Eddie Hearn said, I mean, it's not like we have a Benavidez or Charlo to offer him, meaning that Canelo is declining because he's not fighting the best guys. He's starting to get this company because you got the guys around him making these huge fights and fighting the best guys. I have been saying for a minute that Canelo isn't as far ahead of everybody as people want you to believe, as far as, the stardom and the pay-per-view sales and everything. I've been saying for a couple of years now that Canelo Alvarez is on the decline, right? It's just that we're not seeing, right? I guess you got to hear from somebody else, right? You're not going to believe T. But I had said it, like, during it, in the act, right? Around COVID, when Errol Spence fought Danny Garcia, and he outsold Canelo Alvarez gate, when he had a bigger gate than Canelo Alvarez had. And I said, hey, y'all, I'm not saying that Errol Spence is a bigger star, but what I'm saying is that, in a minute, Canelo Alvarez is going to have him some company. And ever since then, Errol Spence had just been creeping. And now he one of the highest grossing men in America, highest grossing male boxers in America, just like Canelo Alvarez, right? You got Gervonta Tank Davis, who done a bigger gate than Canelo Alvarez, his last gate type deal. But it's, when I say it right, it gets taken with a grain of salt. But what Eddie Hearn just did was he broke it down to you. Who would know better? Who would know better than Eddie Hearn himself? Who would know better than Eddie Hearn himself? You know what I mean? That boy Canelo, right? It's the reason he going out to the PBC. It's the reason he going over there to fight Jamal Charlo now, right? It's because he could see the same things that Eddie Hearn is talking about. Oh man, my last fight with John Ryder, it was piss poor. You know what I mean? His last fight with John Ryder, Hold on real quick, y'all. Give your boy a second. Yeah, my bad. I'm back now. I'm back now. Hold on. Never mind, my best friend just said he putting up. I can use it. Come to the apartment. Yo. Alright. So alright, where the fuck I was at? Yeah, so pretty much Eddie Hearn said what T been saying for a minute, man. That Canelo, I ain't gonna say that he's not a bigger star as people say, because at a point in time, he most definitely was. You know what I mean? That Floyd Mayweather effect is real. That Floyd Mayweather thing is real. You know what I mean? As long as you can fool some of the people some of the times, right? But you can't fool all of the people all of the times, man. As long as you are fighting the best fighters, right? People going to support it. But after a while, we start to see these guys. Not want to challenge themselves. We start to see these guys, avoid. Damn. we start to see these guys not want to challenge themselves. We start to see these guys avoid the best competition. And you better believe that that affects, you know what I mean, your bottom dollar, which is exactly what Eddie Hearn just said. Eddie Hearn just said that Canelo's star power is declining. You know what I mean? He said the zone isn't necessarily upset that Canelo was gone because his star power is declining. And he said, of course, we don't have, you know, the Jamal Charlos or the David Benavidez's to offer him to make those huge fights. So 2 points was made by Eddie Hearn, right? 2 points was made by Eddie Hearn. 2 points was made by Eddie Hearn in this. Hold on. Can y'all hear me? All right, my bad. Two things, two things, two things stood out to me though. Two things stood out to me. Eddie Hearn. I'm trying to get out this fucking complex. Y'all don't know where the fuck. I don't know how the fuck to get out this complex. Two things stood out to me. Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn admitting that Canelo is on the decline as far as his star power, and also Eddie Hearn admitting that. Also Eddie Hearn. Also Eddie Hearn admitting that Jamal Charlo, right? Also Eddie Hearn admitting that Jamal Charlo and David Benavidez, right, who reside on the PBC, that those are the type of fights that the people want to see, right? The first name that he mentioned was Jamal Charlo. He said, we're not as upset as everybody thinks. He said, we're not as upset as everybody thinks about, we're not as upset as everybody think about us losing Canelo Alvarez, because not every Canelo Alvarez fight on the zone was a success. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me, if y'all in the bed. Can y'all hear me? I'm talking my ass out, but I don't know if y'all can hear me. Yo, I got 5 people in the chat. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me real quick before I continue. Before I continue, y'all let your boy know if y'all could hear me, man. But Eddie Hearn made two great points on it. Eddie Hearn made two great points in that article that I'm gonna read for y'all once I get back to the crib and get situated. He made two great points, right? The first point in that, so I hear you, okay, best shake, girl. The first point, he made in that is that Canelo's star power is on the decline. The second point that Eddie Hearn made in that, right, that people been trying to overlook for all this time, the PBC going out of business and the black fighters don't sell. Eddie Hearn himself, right, came out of his mouth and said, Canelo Alvarez's time on the zone wasn't as successful as everybody thinks, and the zone isn't as upset as everybody think they are with Canelo's departure, right? And he said, we all know that Canelo is a star, but he's clearly declining. And it's not like, you know, we had David Benavidez or Jamal Charlo to offer him. So Eddie Hearn basically just nipped in the butt two what's the word I'm looking for? Eddie Hearn just basically nipped in the butt two myths that people have created. One, that Canelo Alvarez is this huge money generator. It's a difference in what Canelo Alvarez is doing and generating money, right? People say, oh, Canelo Alvarez got 40 million for this fight. Pablo Escobar, what's good, Pablo? Appreciate you sliding through. People say Canelo Alvarez got 40 million for this fight. He got 50 million for that fight, right? Notice, they never say that Canelo Alvarez made 40 million that fight. He made 50 million that fight. They say Canelo Alvarez got, right? Because Canelo Alvarez isn't one of those guys who generate ticket sales. He's the guy that you have to pay to get on your platform, and you gotta just hope that his name does what it does. The thing is that people got confused for a second, thinking that Canelo Alvarez is Floyd Mayweather because he fought and he lost to Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, for a while, you could carry that cachet around. You could even carry that cachet around if you fighting the best fights, which is what Canelo was doing for a second. That Triple G fight at the time when him and Triple G fought, that was the best fight in the best, right? That fight did numbers because he was the best fight in the best. But Canelo actually started to believe that he was Floyd Mayweather for a second, right? Oh, I could fight anybody and people go come watch me because I got paid this much for Floyd. I got paid that much for Triple G. But the thing is, Floyd and Triple G are top fighters. They also are huge names. You tried to cheat the game fighting John Riders and Yeri Dirms and stuff like that. And that's where your star power start to take a dip and start to decline because people start to catch on to, what was going on. You know what I mean? Floyd Mayweather could fight anybody that he wanted to, but you got to look at the guys that Floyd Mayweather was fighting even when he was picking the fights. You know what I mean? Even when Floyd Mayweather was picking his fights, he was fighting, you know what I mean, Robert Guerrero's, Andre Berto's, the Victor Ortiz's guys, championship guys with championship level titles. He was fighting guys like a Jamal Charlo, not a John Ryder. People really want to tell me, oh, man, John Ryder's tough. He's tougher than Charlo. That's a tougher fight. No, it's not at all, and y'all know it. And Canelo Alvarez know it, and Eddie Hearn know it, which is why he said we can't offer him Jamal Charlo. He offered him John Ryder, and you saw what happened. You know what I mean? But at some point, Canelo got a little too comfortable, right, with them paychecks. But Canelo isn't the money generator that some of these guys are. You have to pay Canelo to get him in your building, right? Canelo isn't the guy who generates that 40, 50 million. He doesn't generate that for you. You got to pay that for him and hope to get your money back. You know what I mean? You got to pay that to him and hope to get your money back. Eddie Hearn just let the cat out the bag. Not all of those Canelo Alvarez's fights were successful. You know what I mean? And he basically said that they weren't successful because of the opponents that we had to offer him. Basically saying that we didn't offer Canelo top-tier opponents. You know what I mean? We didn't offer him top-tier opponents. Now, Eddie Hearn is seeing that bottom dollar. Eddie Hearn see the bottom line on their book. Eddie Hearn know what's going on when it comes to Canelo Alvarez. Nobody knows better than Eddie Hearn. And I don't want to hear that, oh, well, Eddie Hearn just made that Canelo left. Because Eddie Hearn stated that before. Eddie Hearn stated in this same interview that the zone isn't as upset as a lot of people may think about Canelo leaving because all of the zone pay-per-views weren't successful. Now, I have been telling y'all that, hey, this pay-per-view ain't do that good. This pay-per-view ain't do that good. Hey, Canelo, his star power declining. Canelo ain't as big a star no more. Job the black fighters. You know what I mean? T don't work for nobody, right? So I don't got a narrative to push. I'm here to I'm the anti-narrative guy. I'm here to stop all the narratives. And the narrative was that Canelo Alvarez is just levels and leaps and bounds above everybody else because he's this big star. No. Canelo Alvarez is getting paid leaps and bounds above everybody else because of that Floyd Mayweather fight. Floyd Mayweather blessed Canelo Alvarez with that fight. He was able to carry some of that cachet. You know what I mean? Up until now, he was able to carry that cachet. He basically lived off Floyd Mayweather's name for a minute. People got confused. Oh, he's the cash cow now. He's the cash cow because y'all was giving him all of that goddamn money, not necessarily because his star power hindered it. I mean, his star power called for it, right? Now what Canelo did was he was able to still float off that Floyd train for a while, but when you don't fight the best, eventually, it started to come back down to earth. And that's all that Eddie Hearn was saying. That's all that Eddie Hearn was saying in his statements. And I believe Eddie Hearn. You know what I mean? Because like I said, man, nobody would know better. Nobody would know better the numbers that Canelo Alvarez does other than Canelo Alvarez. You know what I mean? But Eddie Hearn broke a lot of narratives with that, right? And he proved me right about a lot of shit. You know what I mean? With what he said in his last interview, which I'm about to read out to y'all in just a second, verbatim, so y'all don't gotta take my word for it. I was ripping and running though, so that's why I had to put y'all on the move this morning. You know what I mean? But I've been saying for a minute, Canelo Alvarez got company now, man. Like the face of boxing is no longer the face of boxing. Boxing has multiple faces, right? And a lot of them don't look like the faces that they pushing to y'all. A lot of the faces of boxing right now look like me. You know what I mean? Look like me. Canelo is one of the faces of boxing, right? Canelo is one of the faces of boxing, right? But like I had been saying, man, Canelo Alvarez got some company now. He got some company. And for the people who've been saying that, Jamal Charlo this and Jamal Charlo that, Eddie Hearn let that cat out. Eddie Hearn let that cat out the bag too. Eddie Hearn said that it's not like that we have guys like Jamal Charlo to offer Canelo to help boost his star power back to, what it used to be. Eddie Hearn basically said that the zone couldn't offer Canelo the biggest and best fights, and that's what caused Canelo to slip. So people pretending that, him going to the zone, he's taking the harder route. That route that Bivol, Triple G, and John Ryder. People pretending that's a harder route than Benavidez, Charlo, and possibly Earl Spence, maybe Demetrius Andrade now. You know what I mean? Eddie Hearn debunked that rumor. Eddie Hearn debunked that rumor as well, because he said if he was fighting bigger stars and then he named Charlo, maybe those fights would have been more successful. Maybe those fights would have been more successful, right? But I think Canelo Alvarez, right? He sees the writing on the wall as well, because every time the narrative, the PBC going out of business, the PBC don't sell. I think Canelo Alvarez see his star power decline too, because he ran right back to the PBC. We know that Canelo Alvarez ain't going to the PBC because he like fighting the best competition. Eddie Hearn just told you that, right? We know he not going to the PBC because he like fighting the best competition. He going to the PBC because if he offers him the biggest bag. God damn, I was supposed to go to the gas station. PBC provides him with the biggest bag. That's why he going to the PBC, right? It was $50 million. PBC offered Canelo Alvarez $50 million for a Jamal Charlo fight, right? This is their second time offering him $50 million for a Jamal Charlo fight. So this narrative that the PBC is broken, going out of business, every time Canelo is in the rough patch, right? Every time Canelo go to the zone and have a couple bad pay-per-views and albums, he make his way right back to the PBC. You know what I mean? The zone and Matchroom is the place that Canelo Alvarez go for a break. That is the place that he go to get some rest. That is the place that he go to have a little bit of an easier time. And that's why his star power is declining. That's why his sales is slipping, because eventually we catch on. And I like Canelo, right? You can ask my partners and everything. We actually like Canelo, but we don't like how Canelo is moving now. We don't like how Canelo has been moving, for the last couple of years. Now, I'm applauding him for that move he just made with Jamal Charlo, right? I'm not going to sit here and beat the move up, right? Even though I could say this ain't the best Charlo, blah, 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 and all that good shit. He been out for 2 years, right? But I don't think this is the best Canelo Alvarez either right now. I don't think this is the best Canelo Alvarez either right now. So I think that it's all even. It's all tit for tat. And I do think that fight's going to be a little harder. I do think that fight's going to be a lot harder, right, than everybody letting on. I do think that fight's going to be a lot harder than everybody is expecting. You know what I mean? It's a reason that Canelo waited to fight Jamal Charlo last, right? It ain't because like guys don't wait to fight you last because you're an easy opponent. I tell you that. But yeah, Canelo Alvarez saved Jamal Charlo for last, and you ain't saving, You know what I mean? The easiest fights for last. You gonna go and get the easiest fights out the way, and you gonna save the best for last. Y'all on for a second. Yo, can y'all hear me? I'm back now. I'm back now. But Eddie Hearn said Eddie Hearn basically alluded to Eddie Hearn basically alluded to the fact that Canelo Alvarez's star power is declining because he hadn't been fighting the best fighters. Right? Wasn't as successful as everybody think. He said, uh, "We know that Canelo is a huge star, but the guys that he was fighting didn't generate the kind of support that they wanted to. And by the guys that he was fighting, he basically meant those guys on the zone. He meant his fighters, right? He said we didn't have a Jamal Charlo to offer him, right? And people fans, right? Because nobody inside the boxing, not even not even Canelo himself. Even Canelo himself tells you that Charlo is the most deserving of a fight with him. Now Eddie Hearn is telling you that if we had a guy like Jamal Charlo, to let him fight at the zone, maybe his time at the zone would be better. You know what I mean? But as soon as his contract was up with the zone, he went right back to where his bread is literally buttered. And his bread is buttered at the PBC. You know what I mean? Look at his pay range from the PBC and look at his pay range at the zone. He takes bargain base deals at the zone because he knows that fighting those guys, he can't bring in the money that's going to earn him a $40-50 million contract. When he go over to PBC, they throwing out $40-50 million contracts because they have that other fighter to match with Canelo that's going to bring in that $40-50 million worth of funding. You know what I mean? You can't beat the zone and give Canelo $100 million because you ain't gonna be able to afford it and you ain't gonna be able to pay it to him. Which is why Canelo left the zone the first time, because contract breach. He left Golden Boy and he went to Matchroom because of the contract breach. Oscar De La Hoya was saying, bro, you're not generating the kind of movement to be asking for these. And Canelo Alvarez didn't like that, and he left. The zone the first time. Y'all hold on for a second. All right. I still think PBC is overpaying Canelo. YouTube. I mean, I would agree with that too, PJ, because Eddie Hearn just said it, right? Canelo Alvarez star power is declining. We about to get right. He said it. Canelo Alvarez star power is declining. You know what I mean? I don't think necessarily. I think that I don't think that I don't think that the PBC is overpaying him because the PBC has the opponents to match up with him. YouTube. I don't think the PBC is overpaying him, right? Because they got the opponents to match up with him that's gonna make a return investment on that gate, right? Canelo and Caleb Plant was Canelo's highest earning, highest gross and fight because you matched him up with Caleb Plant, a guy who is worth the damn, right? A guy that has a fan base, a fight that people actually wanted to see, right? You could pay Canelo $40-50 million if he fight, a good opponent because that's gonna get the people in the room, right? That good opponent that he fighting gonna get the people in the building. It's when Canelo Alvarez go out here and he fight them scrubs, right? That his pay-per-views and shit tank because ain't nobody gonna pay $100, $99, right? $50 to see you go in there and beat up on John Ryder. You know what I mean? Anybody gonna pay $100, $80 to see you go in there and beat up on Envy Darren. You know what I mean?
Ain't nobody paying to see that, blood. You feel me? Ain't nobody paying to see that. So when he fight those guys, we go stream it up. But you see that Canelo, I said Canelo, but you see that Caleb Plant fight, right? But you see that Caleb Plant fight, right? That John did numbers. That John was a doozy. They want to tell you that don't nobody know Caleb Plant. And shit, his Caleb Plant fight did better than that Triple G fight. Why y'all think that we never heard this? It was never this media frenzy, right? Why y'all think it was never this media uproar, right? About that Canelo in Triple G2. Y'all notice y'all never seen. I dropped pay-per-view numbers, right? But y'all know this mainstream media never dropped pay-per-view numbers for Canelo and Triple G. That's because it did piss poor. You know what I mean? That's because it was a piss poor effort, right? Whenever it's piss poor, they not gonna tell you. They not gonna tell you the numbers. And his last couple fights has been that way. His last couple fights has been piss poor. You know what I mean? But we about to read straight from the article, right? We about to read straight from the article, so we could see what Eddie Hearn got to say. So y'all don't got to take my word for it. So y'all don't got to take my word for it. Y'all can take Eddie's word for it, right? But I don't feel like Eddie Hearn is just saying this because he quote unquote mad. Because he quote unquote mad that yeah, I don't think Eddie Hearn just saying this because he mad that Canelo left the zone. Because in saying it, he said that the zone isn't as upset as everybody think that they is that Canelo Alvarez left. I'm about to go to the article though so I can read it verbatim, right? So y'all don't gotta take my word for it. Here we go. Hearn. Not every Canelo Alvarez fight was a success for the zone. That's the title. And I like when shit like this happen because I told y'all that this man, star power was declining. And every time he had a pay-per-view, right, that tank, I dropped their numbers for it, letting y'all know. And people told me that I didn't know what the hell I was talking about. So maybe we gonna believe Eddie Hearn. Because I know how y'all like it when them white people tell y'all the same shit that I tell y'all. Right? But I digress. Canelo's Alvarez up and down relationship with the zone is down again after the Mexican star opted to continue his career with a multiple fight deal in order to have his fight staged on PBC's pay-per-view. 9 out of Alvarez's last 10 fights were staged on the zone. The one fight that wasn't staged on the zone was that Caleb Plant fight that I was talking about earlier. But that honor will now be given to Showtime, which he had a 5-fight run with Alvarez from 2012 to 2014, as well as one fight in 2021. When Alvarez stepped aside from the zone to face Caleb Plant to become champion. In 2018, Alvarez signed a 10-fight deal, $365 million deal to have his fights exclusively staged on the zone. So Canelo's original deal to the zone was a 10-fight deal, $365 deal. Right. Some people don't know that he had fell out with the zone, in the middle of that deal, right? And he ended up going back to the PBC. He fell out. Once he fell out with Matchroom in the zone, he went to Eddie Hearn in the zone, and he continued that same contract that he had originally with the zone. He just continued it with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn and not Oscar De La Hoya, right? So when he went back, this last Triple G fight, right? The last Triple G fight, Bivol fight, and John Ryder fight, that was him honoring the same 10-fight contract that he had with DAZN previously. That's why he's fighting all these random guys on DAZN, because DAZN got to find a way to get that damn $365 million back that they gave Canelo Alvarez. What's going on right now is that DAZN is having buyer's remorse. That's what's going on right now. They realizing, dang, we lost. We lost in this Canelo Alvarez experiment. You know what I mean? We lost. But in 2020, Alvarez had his 10-fight deal severed after just 3 fights when he sued former promoter Golden Boy and DAZN. In stepped Matchroom Boxing head Eddie Hearn, who promoted 7 out of Alvarez's last 8 fights on DAZN. So he had 3 fights on DAZN before the 10-fight deal. He sued him, left the company, came back, and he just had 7 more fights, with DAZN when he came back. This wasn't the new DAZN deal that he got. This was the same DAZN deal that he had at first. They just, he just had to honor out the deal that he had at first. So he was never going to fight anybody outside of DAZN. That first inquirement about Charlo was bullcrap. You know what I mean? He was never going to fight anybody outside of DAZN. He's free to fight who he wants to now because he just finished his last 3 fights under that contract that he originally signed with DAZN. Following his wins against Triple G in September and John Ryder in May, Alvarez was adamant that he desired a rematch with his recent conqueror Dmitry Bivol, right? So we all know when Canelo Alvarez was pretending like he wanted to fight Dmitry Bivol again, but that fight ended up falling through because Dmitry Bivol wanted to fight at 168, and Canelo didn't want to fight for his he didn't want to put his undisputed titles on the line against Dmitry Bivol, so that fight ended up falling out. Said, but when the deal could not be broken with the WBA, Alvarez instead opted to seek a fight with Al Haymon in the PBC, who manages a stable headlining by Alvarez's next likely opponent, Jamal Charlo. Also on the stable is David Benavidez, Errol Spence Jr., David Morrell Jr., and Demetrius Andrade, amongst others. Hearn opened up about not being able to work with Alvarez. This is what Eddie Hearn had to say. This is what Eddie Hearn had to say about Canelo Alvarez and him leaving Matchroom in DAZN. He said, I think it's a good move for Canelo. Of course, we always want to promote Canelo Alvarez. We never made him an offer, and we didn't have a fight for him in September. We were asked to make the Bivol fight, but that wasn't possible, Eddie Hearn told Boxing Social. He got to make his move now. I wish him all the best. It was an amazing run, and I'm sure we will work together again. Now we need to look at this huge pot of money that was there for the Canelo fights now. Start looking at a big string of big fights in 2023. 2022 was Matchroom's year. 2023 right now is the PBC's year. We are competitors. We want to win. We are rolling up our sleeves in order to give you an unbelievable 6 months. And this is what Eddie Hearn had to say, about the money issue, right, with Canelo Alvarez. He said, I'm not just saying this, but honestly, DAZN is just fine with losing Canelo Alvarez, right? Despite what everybody might believe, Eddie Hearn is saying DAZN is just fine with losing Canelo Alvarez. He said it got to a stage where not every fight is a success for DAZN, right? Jay Gill, what's good, Jay Gill? Appreciate you sliding through. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, whether you just passing through, we over here making it do what it do. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy when you roll on in. Help get your boy in that algo. Let you two know that we talking this good boxing. Right. But let me finish these comments made by Ed Hearn. because now we get into the good part, right? He said, and I'm not just saying this, but honestly, the zone is fine with losing Canelo Alvarez. It got to a stage where not every fight Canelo Alvarez had is a success for the zone, not for Canelo Alvarez, right? People get mixed up. People say, "Oh, Canelo made this much for this fight, made that much for this fight." No, Canelo was given money for that fight. They give Canelo 40, 50, $20 million. That's not money that he's generating in return to them, right? Eddie Hearn said it got to a point where not every fight that Canelo Alvarez put on was successful for the zone. Not one successful for Canelo Alvarez. It most definitely was successful for Canelo Alvarez because he got his bag. But what Eddie Hearn is saying that the zone, you know what I mean, took a loss, not Canelo Alvarez. He said he is a massive name who has done massive numbers for us. He's always been a successful matchroom, but it comes to a point where the broadcaster is me and you, the broadcaster is the fan. It comes to a point where the broadcaster says, "Am I getting my value? And are these fights and are these the best fights available?" The answer is not necessarily. If we had a Charlo fight or the Benavidez fight, things may be different, but we don't. Now, that's what I want to hit on right there, right? Eddie Hearn said, I'm not just saying this, but honestly, the zone is fine without Canelo Alvarez. It got to a stage where not every Canelo Alvarez fight was a success for the zone. He is a massive name who has done massive numbers for us, but it comes to a point where the broadcaster, which is me and you, the people watching the fight, right? It comes to a point where the broadcaster, the fan says, "Am I getting my value? Are these the best fights available?" And the answer to that question is not necessarily. These words are coming straight from Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn just told you that Canelo Alvarez wasn't giving us the best fight. Eddie Hearn just told us that Canelo Alvarez wasn't giving us the value that we deserve as a fan. But you had these Canelo born riders. You had these Canelo born riders tell you that everybody and everything that Canelo do is golden. When Eddie Hearn is speaking from the place of the fan, right? Eddie Hearn is saying what I've been saying for the longest, right? Canelo Alvarez basically losing juice because he's not fighting the best competition. Canelo Alvarez losing juice because he's not fighting the best competition. You know what I mean? Eddie Hearn has gotten to the point where he's fine with letting Canelo Alvarez go. Canelo Alvarez isn't a guy who generates money for his company. He's the guy that's going to make money for him. You got to pay him, you know what I mean, to get him on your platform. The difference, but this is the difference right now, because I'm not going to say never, right? But this is the difference between Canelo Alvarez and a guy like Earl Spence or a guy like Gervonta Tank Davis, right? Here's the difference. When Canelo Alvarez is on your platform, you got to give him anywhere from $20 million to $40 million, right? When a guy like Earl Spence on your platform, you got to give him anywhere from like $5 million to $10 million, right? Here's the difference. The $5 to $10 million that you go give Earl Spence, right? Earl Spence is going to fight. Let's just say Earl Spence going to fight. Let's just say Earl Spence going to fight Sean Porter, right? Earl Spence going to fight Sean Porter. You go give Earl Spence $10 million. You go get that fight $10 million, right? So $10 million is what you spent up front for that fight. Earl Spence fighting Sean Porter is gonna make you an excess of $10 million. Let's just say it make you $15 to $20 million. I'm taking the low end. Let's just say it make you $15 to $20 million, right? So that's a $5 to $10 million profit, right? If you pay Canelo Alvarez, if you pay Canelo Alvarez $40 million, right, and he fight every year there, that ain't gonna generate you $40 million, right? Let's just say that you lucky and it get you $50 million. I mean, let's say you're lucky and they get you 20 million. Now you $25 million in the hole because you gave Canelo Alvarez 50 million. You know what I mean? Now I don't think Eddie Hearn lying PJ's big dog because it's the same shit that I've been saying because I can see it with my own eyes. Go look at that fight with Dem. Eddie Hearn is telling the truth. He been lying, telling you that Canelo Alvarez is this huge star. They've been lying to you for a minute. Canelo Alvarez isn't as big a star as they want you to believe. They got to pay Canelo Alvarez like he's a big star, but he don't generate that money back for you or the company. Eddie Hearn ain't lying. Don't nobody know Eddie Hearn bottom dollar like Canelo. If anybody lying, it's these other motherfuckers that's talking about Eddie Hearn's situation with Canelo. Don't nobody know that bottom dollar like Eddie Hearn. You know what I mean? In the same interview, Eddie Hearn said that him and Canelo have a great relationship and that they go work again. You know what I mean? Eddie Hearn ain't lying. Eddie Hearn ain't lying telling you he lost no money. He may lie to you and tell you that he made some money. You know what I mean? He ain't lying and telling you that he lost no money. He ain't lying and telling you that he lost no money. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what he was saying. He was like, the zone ain't as upset as y'all think they is, as everybody think they is. You know what I mean? Because they haven't been he's just exposed that Canelo was basically PJ. Bingo. There you go. That's what he did. He exposed he was cherry picking the easy opponent, the smaller opponents, and that's why his star power fell off. You know what I mean? And that's why his star power fell off. That's basically what he did. Eddie Hearn told you, man, if we had a guy like Eddie Hearn told you if we had a guy like Charlo or Benavidez to put him in the ring against, then maybe it'd be a different story. Canelo had a contract to honor, man. Canelo had a contract to honor with the zone. He was never going over there to fight the best opponents. He was going over there to try to recoup some of that money. He was going over there to try to recoup some of that. The zone wanted him over there fighting them in-house fights to recoup some of their money that they lost. They was trying to make him versus Dimitri Bivol. And when he didn't want to fight Bivol, they said he can go on and do what he want to do. But what the zone was doing was they was trying to get some of that Canelo money back, that $365 million that they gave him all them years ago. That $365 million that they gave Canelo Alvarez all them years ago. The zone trying to recoup that. That's what the zone trying to recoup. You know what I mean? I don't think that man lying. I don't think that man lying at all when he say. I don't think go on. I don't think that man lying at all when he say, I ain't as mad as y'all think. And Canelo ain't the same star that he used to be. You know what I mean? I think people got so lost. I think people got so lost and old that he fought Floyd Mayweather. They started paying him like he was Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? They started paying him like as long as they was gonna give him checks, for fighting nobody. Hold on. As long as they was gonna give him checks, you know what I mean, to fight nobody, he was gonna keep fighting nobodies. But once them chicks start drying up like they did, now he got to get back in the ring. He actually got to fight somebody. I'm telling y'all, Canelo got a 3-fight deal with the PBC, right? He got a 3-fight deal with the PBC. I guarantee you. In this 3-fight deal, this is gonna be his last 3 fights of his career, man. I guarantee you this gonna be Canelo Alvarez's last 3 fights of his career. Because after he go through this gauntlet, he hanging it up. After he go through this gauntlet, he hanging it up. And PBC offered him 3 fights and the access to 100 million. Like, so he gonna get over 100 million. What I'm hearing is he gonna get around 140 million for 3 fights, close to 150 million for 3 fights. You know what I mean? That man gonna lay it down. Now he gonna have to earn it, right? And Adrian Broner told you that. Adrian Broner said PBC don't mind paying you the big dollars, but you just gonna have to fight Godzilla to do it. My bad. Yeah, Adrian Broner told you PBC don't mind paying you the big dollars. You just gonna have to fight Godzilla to do it. You know what I mean? Canelo Alvarez at a point in his career, man, where he see, he ain't the attraction that he used to be. He need a dance partner, right? Now you always needed a dance partner, but for a while you can fool the people, right? For a while you can fool the people, but ultimately you need a dance partner, which is what Eddie Hearn just said. You know what I mean? He said all them fights wasn't a success. All them Canelo Alvarez fight wasn't a success on DAZN because we didn't have a Jamal Charlo to offer him. Because we didn't have a Jamal Charlo to offer him or David Benavidez to offer him. He said now PBC going to lose money on Canelo too, most overpaid boxing history of the sport. PJ, I don't necessarily think the PBC is going to lose on him, and I'm gonna tell you why, PJ. Because I think that they got the people to match him with. They got the people to match him with. They got the boxers to put him in the ring with that's gonna make people go out and buy them seats. They got the boxers to put him in the ring with that's gonna make people pay and come and see. I give you an example, right? Let's just use the first one. Charlo versus Canelo. You don't think people ready to see that Charlo versus Canelo? I guarantee you this. I guarantee you this. It's gonna make more than that Durham or more than that John Ryder fight. And I also look at it from this perspective, PGH. Let's do the numbers. And I'm gonna do an EP on this later, right? I'm gonna do an EP on this later and we gonna talk about it, right? Business, from the business aspect of it, right? The zone paid 365 million. The zone paid 365 million. You know what I mean for him, right? The the zone paid 365 million for him, right? The PBC paid. The zone paid 365 million for him, right? The PBC paid 100 million for him. Right? You put him in there with Charlo, Andrade, Benavidez, and boy, don't let him get in there with Earl Spence. You putting him with Earl Spence, that's gonna make you back. They're gonna make that shit back in one night. They gonna make that shit back in one night. He said the zone knew what was up. They said, "Hey, nah, look what happened to HBO." You know what I mean? I think the PBC. I think the PBC got the fighters to match them up with, right? And they paid significantly less. You know what I mean? Than 365 million. Because we've been ready to see that Charlo fight for a minute. To bring him on with Charlo, they gonna make a nice chunk of change, man, off that Canelo Alvarez versus Charlo fight, man. They gonna get a nice chunk of change off that. They gonna get a nice piece of change off there, man. They're like, bro, people been talking like good or bad, right? People been talking about Charlo. People always talking about Charlo, good or bad. Good or bad, people always talking about Canelo. They didn't have beef for about 4 years. Right? Everybody got so much to say about Charlo. Everybody got so much to say about Canelo. Black people got so much to say about Canelo. Mexicans got so much to say about Charlo. Canelo ain't did this. Charlo ain't did that, bro. That shit about to do numbers, bro. My homie came over here talking to me about Canelo and Charlo. Casual fans, bro. Casual fans are waiting to see that fight, y'all. I think PBC got the guys. Eddie Hearn, PJH. Eddie Hearn said, PJH, your favorite promoter said it, PJH. I'm fucking with you. PJH, your favorite promoter said it, right? Let me go back to it real quick. He said it, bro. He said, maybe if we had a Charlo to put him in the ring with, maybe if we had a Charlo to put him in the ring with, right, or Benavidez, right, we would have got a different outcome. He basically told you that the Canelo the Zone project was a failure. You know what I mean? He basically told you that it was a failure. And then he named the fighters. Here we go. And then he named them. And then he named them. Then he named it right out of his mouth. Man, Charlo Benavidez. Both of them on the PBC. People have to give you heard Ed Hearn say, he said last year was the zone year. No, it wasn't. 2023 is the PBC year, right? Bro, everybody is finna have to, this year PBC making it undeniable, right? Right. People still, was hating on them last year, but this year PBC making it undeniable. Everybody is going to the PBC to get their bread buttered. Literally, Ryan Garcia, bread buttered. Canelo, bread buttered. You know what I mean? Everybody, AJ, bread buttered. You know what I mean, man? Everybody heading over there to get that bread buttered, man. D-Man, what's good, D-Man? Appreciate you sliding through. He said, but is Canelo really going to fight the top guys? PBC better make him. I already set in stone, PJ. I already set in stone, man. I already set in stone. If he try to catch weight anybody, bro, he got to fight Earl Spence. We go get Charlo, probably Andrade, Benavidez. Earl Spence gonna be somewhere up in there. They go get Earl Spence that payday. They gonna let Earl have a shot. They go get Earl up in there. It's them four though. We know Charlo, and they give him Charlo the shot first because he been chasing them for the longest. He getting his shot first. Their second fight could be Andrade, it could be Benavidez, and I'm thinking they gonna slide Earl Spence up in there. Right? I'm thinking Canelo will more likely want to fight Andrade. Right? So I'm thinking maybe Andrade. You know what I mean? Benavidez got David Morrell problems. You know what I mean? Just knowing Canelo, right? He looking at Jamal and Andrade are older, right? So I'm gonna fight them. I don't see him getting there with David Benavidez or younger. He a young bull. I don't see him getting there with him at all. You know what I mean? I can see him say, okay, well, Charlo older and he kind of hurt. Andrade older and he kind of hurt. Now I'll fight them. Notice he was already in the stable with them. Remember, Andrade was on PBC. All of them. He was in the stable with them. All of them was young guys together. Canelo grew up with these niggas. That's the part people don't want. Yo, he grew up with these niggas, bro. These are his niggas. The Olympics, he fought these niggas. These the niggas that Canelo was big and back bamboo with on the way up. These niggas. These folks been in the same class for years. For years. You know what I mean? So this is his second time being in the room. He like, okay, y'all done got a little older now, right? So now we can get the smoke. We can get it. The only reason Canelo left Showtime in the first place, bro, was because he didn't want to fight them people, bro. People forget that. The reason he left Al Haymon in the first place is because he didn't want to fight Andrade and Charlo. Mainly Charlo. because they saw them pushing Charlo and Andrade towards them. They gave you Mayweather, right? And then when it was his turn to fight them, he said, He said, no, I'm going to the zone. I'm going. He said, no, I'm going to the zone. Me, go to the zone. The zone. You, no. Me, no. Room too dark. Me, go to the zone. He went to the zone. Eddie Hearn just said it. We ain't got the people to offer him like they do over there. Their room got a little dog. Yo, I got 12 people in the building. Y'all hit that thumbs up for your boy. You know what I mean? Is it still had to see Al nowhere around it? Yeah, facts. Eventually, do the right thing like Spike Lee. Right? And I'm trying not to give him too much credit for doing the right thing, but I am glad that he's doing the right thing, bro. He said if Canelo fights a third fight, it may be Spence because he would want to retire with his biggest payday. Facts. Do what I'm getting at. Exactly what I'm getting at. I see Benavidez as being the odd man left out in the Canelo sweepstakes. That's what I see. I see David. I see David Benavidez being the odd man left out in the Canelo sweepstakes, which is why I think he should go ahead and fight Morrell. Y'all shoot that dude right there. Y'all shoot that dude. Y'all shoot that dude. But yeah. And see, you could tell he just coming here trolling, right? Because he said Canelo's still the face of boxing. I said that from the beginning. What's the first thing I fucking said when I came here? Canelo is the face of boxing. But he not the only face of boxing. I've been telling y'all for years, man. He got company. It's not just a face of boxing no more, bro. Faces. Canelo not the only name people know. Whether y'all like it or not. He not the only name people know no more. He not. A lot of these people don't even really know Canelo. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But he ain't alone in that room. And that's basically what Eddie Hearn saying. He ain't alone in that room, man. You know what I mean? What Eddie Hearn said was everybody's saying that, we sick. Now, we not as upset as y'all think. What Eddie Hearn basically said was, shit, Canelo doing us a favor. He said, now maybe if I have Charlo Benavidez, it might work. He basically saying, so let's see what he do with y'all. You know what I mean? But if Canelo is a megastar, for sure. But he got to get in there with somebody that work the while. You can't just fight a scrub. You know what I mean? Even Floyd Mayweather knew I can't just get in there and fight a goddamn scrub. You know what I mean? Floyd ain't fighting no scrubs. Floyd fought niggas with names. You know what I mean? He fought niggas with names. And Floyd was 36, 37, 38, 39, 40 doing this shit that Canelo doing when Floyd was 32, 33, he was fighting everybody, right? They sent Floyd his goddamn Mexican monster, you know what I mean? Long leg Chico. Y'all remember Chico? Y'all remember Corrales? They sent him his Mexican monster. That boy was a fucking beast. They said, and he dealt with him when he was, you know what I mean, when it was his time. You know what I mean? He dealt with his. He said, fuck all that. Nigga called him. Said, yeah. Facts. He's absolutely, yep. He said, yep. And Crawford turned 28 September. Yep. You know what I mean? So it's time, man. It's time. He did the right thing. He did the right thing like Spike Lee. Y'all saying do the right thing? Great movie. Watch it. Shout out Spike Lee. But I digress. Hit that thumbs up for you, boy. I got 13 people in the building. I got 20 likes. Now, this ain't me that said this, so don't get mad at me. I have said this before, right? That Canelo's star power is declining, right? Still one of the faces of boxing. But I've been saying for a while that he got some company. And the thing is, like, when you living in it, right? When you live, a lot of people don't know how to live in the prison. A lot of people can't, live in the moment, right? You got to enjoy what's going on. When as soon as it happened, when Canelo fought Eurodem and Earl Spence fought Danny Garcia, and I said, hey, y'all, did Earl Spence just out fucking say Canelo? You know what I mean? Did Earl Spence just out say fucking Canelo? I said, hey, I ain't saying Earl Spence is big stars Canelo, but y'all have to start putting some respect on dude's name, right? And then now we look up 2023, Canelo number one, grossing American boxer, Errol Spence number two. You know what I mean? All I'm saying is that he got he got company now, man. You know what I mean? And Eddie Hearn pretty much just confirmed what I've been saying for years. You know what I mean? He just confirmed what I've been saying for years. That man said, honestly, we not that upset over here at the zone. He said a lot of those Canelo fights, he said all those Canelo fights didn't do well for the zone. Never said didn't do well for Canelo. When people say Canelo is the cash cow, he got 40, 50 million, he got this, he got that. He got it. He didn't earn it. Right? My example, the difference, right, in earning and being given, right? If they give Canelo 40 million and he fight um John Ryder and they fight only do 20 million, they minus 20 million in the fucking hole. If they give Errol Spence 10 million and his fight happened to do 20 million, they plus 10 million up. You get what I'm saying? And then they break off them on the back end. If you give Canelo Alvarez 20 million and he make 20 million, you don't get nothing. You know what I mean? You don't get nothing. But if you give Javante Tank Davis 5 million and his fight make fucking 20 million, you made a $15 million profit. Canelo is cash cow because he demands you give him this much money. And he doing that because of that Floyd Mayweather price tag, right? And that price tag done dried up, which is why now he got to get in there. He got to fight somebody worthwhile. He got to go back to Floyd Mayweather company, right? And fight one of them niggas again. That y'all swear don't say it. He fought Caleb Plant. And y'all know what they say about Caleb Plant. That's our nigga. Because y'all know I'm just going to throw Caleb Plant in that fucking pot too. Because he white, but he ain't. But he's white, but he ain't. You know what I mean? So he had to walk back over there every time he want to make some real money. He come over there to Al Heyman's side, black man, right? And he fight one of them niggas. Okay, in Caleb Plant. It's a bunch of niggas in Caleb Plant. It's a bunch of black people, Mexicans in Caleb Plant. That's all that's over there. That's all that's over there. Caleb Plant is to PBC what Damon Man is to TWT. Same thing. Same thing, dog. It's the same thing. Caleb Plant is the PBC, what Devin Man is the TWT, bro. So whenever Canelo want to get his bread butter, he walk his ass on back over there to that nigga. He said, "Hey, Al, I need some bread." Al say, "You know I got the bread for you, but you gonna have to fight. But you gonna have to fight somebody for it though." And Canelo be like, "All right, man, fuck it. Who I gotta fight? You know what I mean? Who I gotta fight?" And then he gone, he finna do it. He over there 3 times. The man finna retire. I'm talking calling him boy, because y'all might say he disrespect, not call everybody boy, but I know how y'all get on this YouTube. The man finna retire. I'm telling him he gonna retire. Whether he win, lose, draw any of these fights. He done. He done. This be his last one. Sante, yeah, was good. He said Elliot finally told the truth. Facts, bro. He finally told the truth, bro. And then when I was saying it, he said the zone let Nello get away with robbing their ass. Now they don't want the bitch on. Yeah, facts, right, D man. That's what it is. Bro, that man straight up said, shit. Honestly, we ain't as mad as y'all think. You know what I mean? He was like basically that bitch ain't shit anyway. He was like, it was like, actually, a relief. You heard what he said? He said, now we got to figure out what we going to do with all of this money that we was going to get Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Eddie like, man, shit. Hey, B, the IT was good. Appreciate you sliding through this thing. Partner, glad you can make it. Y'all smash that thumbs up for your boy, man. I don't know how many y'all in here right now, but I got 21 likes. Y'all hit that thumbs up. Get your boy right. But I digress. But yeah, it's like you could have them, you can have her, bro. You know what I mean? Nah, for real, y'all know, bro. Y'all ever got rid of a chick, right? And you realize, like, damn. You realize, like, damn. Or if you a woman, like, you ever got rid of a nigga, no good ass nigga, and you realize, like, damn, there's a little pressure around this bitch. I could breathe this shit. Now, you ever did that? That's where Eddie Hearn there right now. I believe him. I believe it. I promise I do. Eddie Hearn ain't lying about losing the money. Niggas ain't lying about losing money. Niggas be lying about how much they make. People lie about how much they make. Niggas ain't lying about losing bread. Niggas ain't lying about losing. Not niggas like Eddie. You know what I mean? If anything, he gonna cap you out and tell you Canelo did 100 million before he tell you, man, just ain't do. Just ain't do what you thought, man. You know what I mean? He'll capture you like they did 100 million before he tell you that they didn't do. It's a reason, bro. Y'all know Eddie Hearn is the Eddie Hearn be ready to talk about his goddamn what his pay per view did, how many people was in the stadium and shit, bro. He ain't said nothing about them Canelo fights, bro. He ain't said nothing about them Canelo fights, bro. Think about it like this, man. Think about it like this. Eddie Hearn, Eddie Hearn said his fights didn't do as good as his fights didn't always do well for the zone. Now, if we talking about Canelo, as far as him getting himself paid, he's a great businessman. Now, that businessman shit, that's where he got from Floyd. Now, that's where I see where that Floyd shit rubbed off on him. Right after he got his Floyd payday, he knew what to do. He knew what to do. He knew what to start asking for. That boy started asking for 20 millions, multiple million. Like he knew what to do. You know what I mean? And he also knew, right? I'm not finna fight these other niggas, them Andrades and them Charlos. Bro, I'm not finna fight them dudes. I'm finna take my ass to the zone. People wanted to tell you, Canelo, he fight the best fights. Canelo fought his best fights on the PBC. When you look at his best fight, when you start naming Canelo best wins and shit like that, name some of his best wins, right? When you name some of his best wins, PBC. In the sense, Canelo basically just, when you think about it, Canelo basically just went back home. He finally just went back home. You know what I mean? That's where he gonna end it. That's where he started, and that's where he gonna end. It just, man, it's like he avoided the inedible for so long, right? And the inedible is fighting Charlo, fighting Andrade, right? You went to the zone and you got overpaid, right? But you gonna have to earn, like you gotta, and that's why a lot of niggas leave the PBC, right? But you gonna have to earn that check at the PBC. So they gave him 100 mil, but you better believe we finna get us some damn good fights out there, thing. They gave him 100 mil, but you better believe we finna get some damn good fights out of that 100 mil. Cause Al ain't passing that money just because, man. The first fight is Charlo, y'all. The first fight. The first fight is Charlo. Man, we gotta have us an Al Heyman conversation later, bro. We do. Bro, Al Heyman made Tank versus Ryan Garcia this year. Al Heyman made Bud versus Earl this year. Al Heyman made Charlo versus Canelo Alvarez this year. We gotta have us a conversation, man. We gotta have other conversation. He said Eddie said shit she ran to anyway. Right. But bro, Eddie Hearn, like my guy said, man, Eddie Hearn just finally told the truth. Right. He just finally told the truth. He said, I think it's a good move for him. Of course, we always want to promote Canelo Alvarez. We never made him an offer. We did have a fight for him in September. We were asked to make the B-ball fight, but it wasn't possible. And he got to make his move. Right. And then he said, I'm not just saying, Ricky, what's good, Pep? And he said, I'm not just saying this, but honestly, the zone is fine with losing Canelo. It got to a stage where not every Canelo Alvarez fight is a success for the zone. He is a massive name who's done massive numbers for us, but he's always been a success for Maxron. But it comes to a point where the broadcaster, we the broadcaster, me and you, the person that's watching, where the broadcaster says, "Am I getting my value? Are these the best fights available?" And honestly, the answer is not necessarily. If we had Charlo, if we had Benavidez, maybe it would be a bit different, but we don't. The man straight up told you. That man straight up told you right there, bro. He said all the Canelo Alvarez fights wasn't necessarily a success for the zone, and he told you that the viewers us stopped watching Canelo because we weren't getting our value for the fight. We weren't getting the value of the pay-per-view. We weren't getting the value of the subscription from watching Canelo. So people stopped watching. You know what I mean? But when I say this, right, when I'm saying this, throughout the years, I'm saying like, hey man, look at this, like, boom, look, it's a change. Like they telling you boxing dead, they telling you black don't sell, but that ain't really what's going on. Look at what's happening. Oh, he just being pro-black, right? But now Eddie Hearn came out and said it. You know what I mean? And both them fighters fight for the PBC. The highest grossing fight last year was Canelo and Caleb Plant. You know what I mean? That's a PBC fight. If Canelo, he is a star, he just got to fight somebody worthwhile. You know what I mean? Eddie Hearn them didn't have the opponents to get them the bang for their buck. Basically, he told you that they lost. They gave Canelo Alvarez $365 million in 2018. You know what I mean? He basically told you, man, not all them shits, was a success. We know the first Triple G fight was a success, right? Because it was highly anticipated. It was a fight, the best versus the best. You know what I mean? At that time, Triple G and Canelo was two of the best fighters around. You know what I mean? Won't argue that. Can't argue that. At that time, we wanted to see. I damn sure wanted to see it. And at that time, I was a Canelo fan. No cap. I wasn't cheering for no goddamn Triple G. I went on Facebook. And I asked the Facebook Messenger. I was like, hey man, let me be Mexican for a day. When Canelo fight Triple G, them folks started dropping sombreros and Mexican flags and everything on my goddamn page. You know what I mean? But I was a Canelo fan when I watched it, and I watched that first fight. I saw Canelo struggle like a motherfucker. I still think he won slightly though, right? And they gave him a draw, and I had a sigh of relief because he damn sure could have lost that fight. People want to talk about Devin. That's one of them motherfuckers too, fucking Triple G Canelo. That boy could have lost that fight. You know what I mean? And then they said, you know what, let's run it back. And they ran it back. I was like, hell yeah, Canelo ran it back, shot Canelo. And then he popped dirty for steroids. And that's when I kind of stopped fucking with Canelo. Just like I had to stop fucking with Carter Ben. Same shit. You know what I mean? Same thing happened. But except in Canelo's situation, it was a fight where I saw you have your hardest struggle, your hardest battle, and then you all of a sudden pop dirty for steroids. Triple G is what made you. I really don't think he was doing that shit before Triple G2. I think Triple G1 opened his eyes. I think that's the first time he met somebody that didn't fold to his power, that could take a shot, and they kept coming forward. And Canelo showed excellent fucking boxing skills that fight against Triple G1. Canelo showed boxing skills I didn't know he had in that Triple G1 fight, right? That's why I gave him the fight, because I felt like he outboxed Triple G. He was more efficient. He had more clean and effective punches. He used the ring well. He made it hard for Triple G to hit him right now. Triple G is a fucking monster, right? As far as his durability and his defense. Now he ain't fouled, but I feel like Canelo did just enough. But I wouldn't argue with nobody who said Triple G won, right? Because a lot of people do think Triple G won. And honestly, he probably did. You know, honestly, he probably did win that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like he really did. But at that time, I ain't want Canelo to lose that fight, so I was cool with the draw. But anytime that the A side get a draw, y'all know what I say, bro. Anytime the A side get a draw, he really lost. You know what I mean? And guess who else said that? Sugar Ray Leonard. You know what I mean? Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray Leonard said, "Man, Tommy Hearns beat me." He said, "I got a draw," and I told Tommy he won the fight. I think Tommy won the fight because Sugar Ray know that. Sugar know he A side. If A side get a draw, man, they probably lost. You know what I mean? Canelo got a draw that day. He probably lost. Sugar Ray got a draw against Tommy Hearns the second time, and Sugar Ray know he lost. You know what I mean? But I digress. I digress. But that fight did big numbers, right? The Caleb Platt fight did big numbers, right? And he probably snuck a couple fights. Hold on. And he probably snuck a couple pay-per-views in there, right? And he probably snuck a couple pay-per-views in there, right? Post Floyd Mayweather. Post Floyd Mayweather. Is it well except for Wilder for yeah, facts, Shay, girl, facts. Bingo. Yep. And that's the exception. Yep. That's the exception, Shay. And that's the exception. You absolutely right. Wilder most definitely should have won now, right? But I digress. I digress. Tell you what was I saying? Y'all know I be howling for it. What the fuck was I talking? What the fuck was I talking about? I forgot. I felt like it was important. I forgot. I felt like it was important. But oh yeah, I was talking about the fight. Yeah, he probably snuck a couple of them fights, after Floyd Mayweather in there, right? That did good, right? Just off the fact that, I ain't gonna lie, I bought a couple of them pay-per-views for Canelo Alvarez, back in that couple of them trash ass pay. I bought the trash ass Durham pay-per-view. After I bought Canelo versus Jared Durham, bro, that's when I stopped fucking buying Canelo Alvarez pay. I stopped. Like I was supporting, boxing. I used to just buy the pay-per-views, everybody pay. I bought Andy Ruiz versus Ortiz pay-per-view, right? And then I bought that jump, bro. And first of all, I want nobody in the crowd. And then he beat that man in like 2 rounds, bro. I was like, no, bro. It was like that was it for me. That was it for me. That was really it for me, bro. Like, and I don't know why I did it. I just did it because I wanted to see it, bro. I was like, bro, I had to see it. Like, I knew the dude was bad, but I had to see it for myself. And that was terrible, bro. That was terrible, bro. I said, and this is what these Canelo fans want to see. They love seeing him get in there and fight guys they know he go beat up, right? They love seeing him get in there and fight guys they know he go beat up. This shit was like watching. I'd rather fucking watch the goddamn news. You know what I mean? And I said, you know what, bro? I spent my $80 on this shit. I said, you know what? I ain't never buying another goddamn Canelo Alvarez pay per view again until he fight. And then they just stuck with me. I stopped buying everybody's shit unless they was fighting somebody worthwhile. You know what I mean? You got to make this shit free or fight somebody we want to see. You know what I mean? Make this shit free, man, or fight somebody we want to see. But most man, a lot of the reason like the zone put out a report, I guess, or whatever the fuck they put out earlier this year, and they let motherfuckers know that they was like $8 billion in debt or some shit like that, like $8 billion in debt, or it was something like that, like they in debt. You know what I mean? You give the zone as a whole, like everything they got, not just the zone boxing, right? The zone as a whole, the darts, the fucking boxing, goddamn cricket, whatever they got, the whole goddamn app, they in debt right now. They not in danger of shutting down because the dude, who owns the zone, own like fucking oil rigs and shit like that. You know what I mean? So they ain't no problem. Like, he doing this shit for fun. You know what I mean? He doing this shit for fun. Like that dude is extremely rich. Like he doing this shit for fun, right? He got like an inheritance or some shit, a big ass inheritance from Saudi Arabia or some shit like that. He one of them dudes. Like they got oil and shit. So he rich as fuck. He doing this as an investment, but he said as pertaining to the zone boxing, he was like we hit this thing and the ground running, right? So we learned with a lot of trial and error. He said ain't nobody in jeopardy, but we not expecting to take no more losses. We expect to progress from here on out, right? And now you see everybody on the zone, right? Making these big fights. Canelo lead the zone, and then you hear Eddie Hearn say, Canelo lead the zone, and then you hear Eddie Hearn say, man, we ain't necessarily mad that Canelo left the zone. And then next quote he say, now we got to figure out what we gonna do with all this money. We got to figure out. Then you hear Canelo say, and then you hear Eddie Hearn say, we got to figure out. I'm pointing that way. You passing to me. I'm like, we got to. Then you hear Eddie Hearn say, we got to figure out what we finna do with all this extra Canelo money that we got. You know what I mean? Look, that nigga Eddie said, everybody else saying Eddie Hearn must be hurt, the zone must be hurt. They lost Canelo. Eddie said, we ain't as mad as y'all think, man. He said, we ain't as mad as y'all think, dog. And it's the same shit I've been saying for you. I said, bro, Canelo is losing these people money, bro. He not earning these folks no $40 fucking million that he getting paid. Everybody's saying, and that's when I started pushing that. Why y'all be so happy these fighters getting paid? That don't help you. You're not getting none of that goddamn money. You know what I mean? Because they paying him 30 million. He making fucking 10 million on the fighting your damn. That's a loss. What did he say? He said we never made him a fight offer for September. I'm thinking that they didn't want him back. That's what I'm thinking. Canelo didn't have a choice. That's kind of what it sounded like to me from now that I'm looking at that other part. Because I was stuck on the part with him saying that he didn't do as good. But now that I'm looking at this right, he said I think it's a good move for him. Of course, we want to promote him. We never made him an offer. We didn't have a fight for him in September. We were asked to make a Bivol fight, but that wasn't possible. You know what I mean? He said they never made him an offer. You know what I mean? It sounded like they let Canelo go. And then he went on to say he got to make his move. I wish him the best. It's an amazing run. I'm sure we'll work together again. Now we need to look at that huge pot of money that was there for Canelo and now start looking to bring in the big fights for 2023. It sounds like they made a decision to spread that shit around and not give Canelo a fight for another scrub. You know what I mean? It sounded like they was tired of him fighting scrubs for nothing and making them nothing. Now that I'm looking at it as a whole and what the hell he's saying, he said they never even made Canelo an offer. But Canelo got cut from the zone. What are you talking about? I believe Eddie Hearn, man. Why would if Canelo was really making money, right? Y'all know Eddie Hearn, Love making money, goddamn. If he was really making money, bro, why would they let him? Eddie Hearn is the dude who overpaid Canelo. Eddie Hearn is the dude who saved Canelo every time he in trouble. Every time he got to fight somebody, Eddie Hearn is the dude who jump out there with a deal. Eddie Hearn said we never made him an offer. Canelo, Canelo is fighting Charlo. That's why we can't give him too much credit, right? And I really don't even give them about the reason because he's here now, right? So we get to watch the fight. But the only reason he fighting this man is because he got to. He ain't got nowhere else to go. He didn't even have an offer from the zone this time. Man didn't even have an offer from the zone this time, man. He had no choice but to fight Charlo. He had nowhere to go. That's wild. The first, the first thing, this just say, Eddie said he think it's a good move for him. He said we didn't have a fight for him. Then he said he got to make his move. I wish him the best. And then niggas say now we can look at this huge pot of money we got. I think the zone made a decision, bro, to not do business with Canelo because Canelo ain't good business right now. And then he volunteers us this, right? Then he went on to say, which was the part that this EP about. It got to a stage where not every Canelo Alvarez fight is a success. Eddie Hearn put this out for a reason, man. He wants you to know. He wants you to know that boy ain't, you know, what y'all want to say is he still one of the faces of boxing? Damn right. Damn right. Is he still one of? Damn right. But is he alone? If he ever was, is he alone? Is he if he ever was alone? I'm not sure. Uh, I'm not sure if he ever was alone, right? But is he alone as a face of boxing? Nah, I don't think so. I think it's guys right now who can put on fights and who could do better than him. And I don't even think that they realize it yet. Right? Right? It's guys, and they probably do realize it. You know what I mean? Canelo getting paid more than them, so they respect that. But Canelo getting paid more than them by hand, right? But it's guys that generate more money off of their product than Canelo Alvarez. Niggas is paying for Canelo Alvarez name, but it's people with better product than Canelo Alvarez right now who bring in a better profit than Canelo Alvarez right now. You know what I mean? Like it's bigger gates, it's bigger pay-per-view numbers. You know what I mean? And it really feel like now that I'm really looking at this shit with a deeper lens, Canelo ain't have nowhere to go, man. He ain't have nowhere to go. And if Canelo Alvarez is fighting these people, right? If Canelo Alvarez decide to come back to the PBC, if he decide to come back and fight these guys because, you know, just for the money, right? Not because he motivated, not because he think he can win, not because he trying to maybe finish his career with a bang. If he came just because he had nowhere to go, just for the big bag, that man is in trouble. Like my thing is, you can get two fights out of Canelo and Jamal if Jamal win one. You know what I mean? My thing is, bro, it sounds like he unfocused. Like look at Roberto coming trying to switch narrative. It sounds like he unfocused right now. Don't be coming to try to switch the narrative, Roberto. Don't be coming to try to switch the narrative, Roberto. Like it sounds like he doing this just for the bag, yo. You know what I mean? Everybody worried about Jamal mental health and where he at. You know what I mean? Look at where Canelo is right now. Eddie Hearn just told you they ain't even make him an offer. He ain't doing this because he being courageous. He finally fighting Charlo. Nah, he didn't have a choice. He probably wasn't gonna fight Charlo anyway. He didn't want to fight Charlo. He was literally trying to make other fights. We know he didn't want to fight Charlo. We knew he didn't want to fight Charlo. He tried to fight Bobby Jack. He tried to fight Bivol. He only fighting Charlo because he had to. Now we talking about Eddie Hearn saying that Canelo star power declining, and that maybe if he fought better names, maybe if they could have gave him better names to fight, right, that would have helped. That's what we talking about. He also said that a lot of those fights at the zone wasn't as successful as they would have liked them to be. Big ticks was good. Appreciate you sliding through this thing. If y'all could hit that thumbs up for your boy, man. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time. We've been here for a little minute now, man. We just having us a boxing conversation. We having us a Canelo conversation, Eddie Hearn and Canelo conversation, right? And again, Eddie Hearn said in his interview that him and Canelo have zero problems. It's a mutual respect between them two. Y'all can see, look at the picture that I put up here. They got a great relationship. Eddie Hearn said they got a great relationship. And I believe they do. Eddie Hearn said they go do beating. He said, I'm sure we'll do business again later. You know what I mean? So I don't think that Eddie Hearn is hating on, you know what I mean, Canelo with this, just from the things that he's saying, right? Like he's not throwing no insults. Eddie Hearn is just telling you, you know what I mean, it from his perspective, right? From a business perspective. He didn't say that, oh, we hate one another. He said I hope to do business with him again, but he said some of those fights weren't as profitable for the zone. You know what I mean? Canelo demands his bread, right? He's not a money generator type of guy right now at this point. And Eddie Hearn said he think that's because, we didn't have a Jamal Charlo or Benavidez to offer him. We didn't have the big names, the big fights to offer him. You know what I mean? Something else said I got Miles beating Canelo worse than Bebop did. Mao can beat him. I think he is gonna beat him. Canelo can fight, but my thing if is he unmotivated though? You know what I mean? Because from reading this, what Eddie Hearn said is he never had an offer. He never had an offer from them, right? So now it's kind of starting to sound like he had to fight Jamal more so than he wanted to fight Jamal. Brown on boxing was good. Big Tex was good. Appreciate y'all folks sliding through this thing. My Texas and my North Memphis brother, y'all jab that thumbs up for your boy, right? So did Canelo even have another choice outside of fighting Jamal or taking this PBC deal, right? You know what I mean? Did he have a choice? You know what I mean? I don't think he really had a choice. And is he taking this fight because he only think he gonna win, or is he taking this fight because he just wanted to get his money? And they dropped that clip. He said Jamal Charlo needs to come out there ready to destroy Canelo. I tell you this, in Jamal Charlo last fight, right? He started real fast, right? I think it's gonna be a war. I think it's gonna be a war. I think it's gonna be a war, man. But everybody talking about Jamal issues, his mental issues and everything, right? Canelo, Canelo may not be in the best space mentally, right? Y'all seen that video where he was hitting the bag? People were saying he looked sluggish, right? Don't look like he got in them more and everything. I see people trying to build up excuses and shit for him, right? Oh, he looked sluggish. I be seeing this shit on Twitter. He looks sluggish, like he don't got him no more. Jamal Charlo getting him at the right time. I see them trying to build up excuses and shit. What's good, Josh Sands? Appreciate you sliding through. Say Joe Canelo don't have the stamina Mal has. He's a Canelo a 9-round fighter with bad knees, respectfully. Shout out my guy Josh. Appreciate you sliding through. Any damn show. Yeah, yeah. Any damn show gonna have to fight, hard. It's gonna have to be a hard 12 with Mal. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a hard 12 with Mal. And Mal a better mover. He a better puncher, right? Bigger dude than what Canelo used to, right? He a better mover than Canelo, bigger dude than Canelo. You can say they punching power about tit for tat. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You can say they're about tit for tat. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about, Charlo gas tank. I never seen a fight where I thought Charlo, you know, lost because he gassed. I never seen him gas, right? against Montiel, he threw a whole lot of punches early because he was trying to get him up out of there, right? And Montiel, he just wouldn't go that day. You know what I mean? So he kind of gassed himself out in the fourth round, but he fought the fourth round, 12th round. You know what I mean? Pretty much tired. But Jamal Charlo is one of them dudes. Like he don't stop throwing when he get tired. He throw when he get tired, and he throw hard. Like he rocked. The reason he was able to win, and he won every round of that Montiel fight. Right? People want to tell you, oh, that was a bad fight. Charlo literally won that fight on the cards like 10-2, something like that. Go back and look at the scorecard. He won that fight like 10-2, 9-3, or something like that. You know what I mean? But he gassed himself out a little bit early because he threw so many punches because he got Montiel out early and he couldn't finish him. He got him out. He almost got him out a couple times. Montiel that night just wouldn't, go to sleep. But I digress. Outside of that fight, no stamina problems, nothing ever I have ever seen from Maul Charlo. The minute Canelo take a round off, Maul is the minute we see Canelo on his backseat start. Bingo, bingo. And that he said Canelo is a 5 to 6 round fight. After that, he's done. All right. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a 12 round fight. Like he gonna have to like Mao don't keep his punches in his pockets. You know what I mean? He ain't no punches in his pockets kind of dude. You know what I mean, bro? They gonna be fight. Canelo got them he got them counters, right? But Mao got them counters too. That's the thing. Like he said, don't forget that Mao fractured his hand in that Montiel fight. Yeah, true that. Yep, yep, yep. True that, true that, true that. But it's gonna get good, man. Did them Charlos and Earl never get tired, and then the fight regardless of the fast pace. Yep, they durable, man. That's some durable. They some durable dudes. Them Charlos, yeah, Earl too. They some durable dudes. Like it's really good, but 20 this is the golden year though. We got David Loma too. I forgot about that. Like this is the golden year for boxing, right? And if we finish with Wilder and AJ, boy, it's gonna get extremely live. You know what I mean? We could get Andy versus Wilder. That's another fight that Andy and his camp was asking for. Now they acting like they don't want it. We gonna talk about that too at some point. For real though, Andy and his camp been acting like they want that fight for the longest. Now he offer you a deal you don't want to take. You the B side, you can't negotiate. You know what I mean? They ain't offering you to fight. Why did the A side? They not offering you to fight, man. Why did the A side? But Eddie Hearn basically, like my guy Sante said, but Eddie Hearn basically just told the truth on Canelo. You know what I mean? He told the truth on Canelo. And I feel like he said this right because Eddie Hearn see what everybody's saying. Eddie Hearn see, the what's going on. He see the feel around what's going on. Hear everybody saying, "Oh, the zone going out of business. They lost." These really the Canelo fans pushing this. Oh, the zone going out of business. They lost Canelo. Don't got nothing now. Eddie Hearn said, "No, wait a second. All them the zone fights. All them fights. Wasn't a success, right? He said all them fights wasn't a success." And then he was like, "Now that Canelo gone, we got a huge pot of money, right? That we working with. That we got to figure out which fights that we go put on." And he said that Canelo is a star in himself. He gave him credit for that. He said Canelo is a star, but he said the broadcaster eventually got to a point where they asked themselves, "Are these fights worth it? And am I getting my value?" You know what I mean? And he said the answer to that would have been not necessarily. You know what I mean? He said the answer to that would have been not necessarily, right? And he said the fans stopped buying into it. What's good, Josh? And the fans stopped buying into it. You know what I mean? And then he went on to say, facts, Anthony, he do. That's what Eddie good at. The women's side of the sport, the women's boxing. That's his niche. That's his thing. That's what Eddie do well. Than women. You know what I mean? That's what he do good. And then Eddie volunteered this information. Eddie said we didn't even make him an offer. You know what I mean? He said he wanted B-Vol in September. We couldn't give it to him. He said, I hope he do well where he at. We ain't even make him an offer. You know what I mean? He said Miles show up with a gas tank. He gets a UD on Charlo. Jason, if Miles show up as Jamal Charlo, man, he go whoop it, bro. He go get him up out of there. Canelo go gas. Canelo almost gassed against B-Vol. I really feel like B-Vol could have got him up out of there, but B-Vol's such a nice guy. I don't think he really, but B-Vol fighting spurts though. That's why he get him up out of there. I ain't gonna do him like that. B-Vol fighting spurts, right? He jump on you a little bit, get off you, jump on you a little bit, get off you, walk around, jump on you a little bit, get off you, right? Jump on you a little bit, get off you. Charlo don't fight in spurts. Charlo fight. He's a reaction fighter. He fight of what's going on in the ring. He not taking breaks. He fight. He throwing punches. What's good? What's good? He said Canelo gas after 4-6 rounds max. Man, it's go get interesting, right? It's go get interesting. He's discussing how much money was pumped into Triple G and Canelo. They could have made 7 solid stars for their price. Bingo, Jason. And that's basically what Eddie's saying now. He said now with the Canelo fight going, we got to see. Yeah, facts. Canelo fights in spurts. And that's why I think B-Vol didn't get him up out of there. You know what I mean? Musa, what's good, Musa? Appreciate you sliding through this thing. Shout out my guy, Musa Lifestyle. What's good, my brother? Y'all hit that thumbs up for you, boy. We were just ended up having a conversation about what Eddie Hearn had to say about Canelo Alvarez. You know what I mean? In the wakes of him signed to the PBC, right? Eddie Hearn was just addressing, what the people been saying, about him being bitter about Canelo, right? He said him and Canelo got a good relationship, right? And he said that the zone ain't mad that Canelo Alvarez left. He said he volunteered this info, right? He said they got a good relationship. Right? He said that he'll be more than he said he should they can work together in the future, right? But he said all of those fights for the zone wasn't a success, right? He said Canelo is a mega star, but it got to a point where the broadcaster is me and you, the people that's watching, where the broadcaster said me and you, he could be talking about the people that's actually putting on the fights, the actual broadcasters. You know what I mean? I think he talking about both, right? The broadcaster acts. Am I getting my value, right? Am I getting my money's worth, right? The broadcast is the people that's watching and the people that's putting the fight on, right? Am I getting my value? Am I getting my worth? And the answer to that would be not really. You know what I mean? So he basically letting the cat out the bag, something that I have been saying, for a minute, right? I noticed like here and there, right? You will see Earl outside Canelo. You will see Tank outside Canelo. You know what I mean? Right? You'll see a Canelo pay-per-view Tank. You'll see this John Tank. A couple of them talk to Tank in a row. You like, damn. But when I bring attention to it, I'm hating on Canelo, right? You see, I don't see my guy try media in this joint. I ain't gonna see my guy try media. And then he here, but he ain't gonna say nothing in this joint. You know? But you know what I mean? I'm knowing like, damn. But now Eddie Hearn come out and he said, right? Eddie Hearn come out and he said, right? You know, we ain't as upset as you think. You know what I mean? All them jumps wasn't as successful as you think. You know what I mean? He said maybe if we had the bigger fights to offer him, the better fights to offer him, he said Charlo, and he said Benavidez, and maybe if we had a Charlo or if we had a Benavidez to offer him, we'll have a little more, we would have had a little more success. He said, but we don't. You know what I mean? He said we never even made him an offer. So I'm starting to question if Canelo was forced into taking this fight. I'm starting to question if he really wanted to fight Charlo, if he really wanted to sign to the PBC, or if he really wanted to go down this road versus as to him having to sign with the PBC, having to fight Charlo and them, and having to go down this road. You know what I mean? But I think it's gonna get I think it's gonna get interesting, man, when them folks, make it happen. So we looking at what September. People saying, it's two sides to every story, right? His last resort, facts, Josh. Kind of feel like this is last resort. We got people saying, is Charlo, gonna be ready? Charlo got the mental issues. He been out 2 years, right? But just look at Canelo on his last couple fights, right? He ain't looked the best, right? He just went toe to toe with John Ryder. Now, talk your ass out. Canelo can't fight. He ain't supposed to be going toe to toe with John Ryder. At least not the Canelo that I know. Ain't supposed to be going toe to toe with no John Ryder, right? He went toe to toe with John Ryder, lost to Bivol, right? You know what I mean? He ain't necessarily looking, at his best either. You know what I mean? So you got Charlo, who's not at his best right now, right? You got Canelo, who's not at his best. They both aren't in their prime no more. So them guys the same age. Fights like that, you make them happen, and it's for undisputed. Charlo got a chance to change their whole narrative about, himself, narrative that y'all created, right, about himself in one fight. Everybody say he been chasing Canelo. Stop chasing Canelo. Stop. He was at stop chasing Canelo. Stop chasing Canelo. You know what I mean? Uh, type deal. People chasing Charlo, telling him to stop chasing Canelo, right? But he got the Canelo fight now, so he can change that. He can change all the narratives in one fight. It's a reason that he had to chase Canelo, right? Instead of people saying Canelo just fight Charlo, like they said, Charlo just fight David Benavidez, who not even in your weight class, right? Instead of people saying Canelo just fight Charlo, right? They said stop chasing Canelo. You know what I mean? Type deal. They the same reason that they telling Jamal stop trying to fight the best, but they telling people chasing Jamal, yeah, go fight Jamal because he the best. You know what I mean? He said Eddie Hearn failed the zone by not doing proper business. Right. He said, I thought Eddie Hearn overpaid Canelo for numerous fights. They did. They paid Canelo $365 million for a 10-fight deal. And it was a break in between the deal where Canelo went to do what he wanted to do for a second because he sued them, right? Switched to Eddie Hearn from Golden Boy, right? And then finished it out. You know what I mean? He said Charlo timeout may have saved him. And that's what I'm thinking too, D man. I think that's gonna be good for him. I think it's gonna be good for him. I don't think it's gonna be bad for Charlo. I think Charlo focused. He ready. This is Canelo fight, bro. This is what he been working his whole life on. This the jump that he been wanting. You know what I mean? This is time to put his name in the books. This is time to, prove that, he is what we thought he is. I know what he is. You know what I mean? It's just that y'all motherfuckers been talking all this shit. Y'all got to eat y'all words on the second. I'm telling you, when he put this man to sleep, right? Canelo lost. He ain't never been put to bed. He ain't never been stopped. You know what I mean? He ain't never been dropped. I saw that man hit the floor against Bivol. Right? They didn't count it as a drop. Bivol was punching on him. He was just so tired he ended up hitting the ground, right? You know what I mean? But I seen him on the ground. Charlo go put that boy ass on the ground. It's going down. It's going down. But I ain't gonna keep all in this thing too long. I appreciate y'all folks sliding through this thing. Skin Hardaway 7T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. But just the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Look, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Tell a friend. Tell a friend. We gonna come back a little later. We gonna talk, some good boxing. I got a little more to talk about. But I really appreciate everybody sliding through this morning. Skin. I know. I got some more fight breakdown and predictions, right? It's a couple undercard fights I want to talk about. Tiger Johnson fight, I want to get him up in there, but I'm gonna get up with y'all folks later. Appreciate y'all folks sliding through. Skin the Hardaway 7T. This ain't the past, this ain't the future, but just the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.